This was the defining moment of my Nuzlocke career. An agonizing defeat etched into memory. Just as victory was in the grasp for Timmy, my trusted Swampert, Wallace pulled a fast one and used a full restore at the last moment. I watched helpless as Timmy succumbed to a slow and agonizing death. Since that day, the logic has haunted every one of my Nuzlockes, from final bosses to randomizers. But no more. Today, I'm diving once again into a Pokémon Emerald Nuzlocke. But not just any Nuzlocke, but a hardcore Nuzlocke! By now, those who have watched my previous Nuzlocke already know the 3 essential rules to make these baby games a true challenge. But hardcore Nuzlockes makes them even harder by adding 3 additional rules, which I'll leave down as a pinned comment for you to read. So, I'll just speak in a abridged version. Level caps are in place, set mode is on, and items are banned. And with that out of the way, I want to thank you for watching this far into the video. If you enjoy watching Pokemon Nuzlockes, please click the subscribe button and follow me on Twitch, since I enjoy making these videos, and your support will encourage me to make even more! Like the previous Nuzlocke, I was left with the choice of 3 Pokemon. But if I wanted to truly redeem my previous Emerald Nuzlocke, I knew I had to once again go with Timmy the Mudkip. I know that the journey will be long and hard, but I know together with my beloved Timmy, we could take the Hoenn Lake by storm and crush Wallace! Looking through my first few wild encounters, not only do I reunite with old faces like Girlbots to Zigzagoon, but I also meet some new ones. But none of them could compare to the wild encounter I found on Route 104. Alright, what do we got here as my first encounter? Oh, Tailo, I'll take it. This beautiful bird comes with a jolly nature and guts, making him a fairly powerful early game powerhouse. When coming up with names, I thought of the Big Peck's ability, since it's the most bird sounding, which I remembered as being called Pigeon Heart in Japanese. So I decided to put Big Peck's Japanese name on Google Translate and get... Oh. And with that, I became a permanent team member, the small bird with big strength. And together, I easily claimed my first gym badge, while Roxanne's team was forced to go to the ER. Now that the level cap was moved up a bit, I could evolve my beloved Timmy into a Marshtomp. I then set sail to Teeford Town and collected an old rod to fetch up future water types for later, before heading straight into the gym. If you remember my previous Emerald Nuzlocke, this was where I had my first death. So coming out of this gym deathless would be my first true test to see if I've really grown as a Nuzlocker. So I poisoned my brave Tailo to take advantage of Guts and swept Broadway for a clean second gym badge. However, if I want to reach Wallace for my rematch, I'll need more than just a Marshtomp and a Tailo. So I head into Granite Cave, hoping to find a champion-worthy Pokemon. Oh, here we go! There's our encounter! Enter Gauntlet the Makahida, and he quickly makes a name for himself, with a strong early moveset, tearing through Team Aqua like wet paper, and evolving early enough that he becomes one of my best team members. And if that isn't enough for you, he also has Guts. And if Gauntlet weren't enough, I would eventually add Dr. Proton, the positive vibing Electrike, and turn up the Oddish, the adorable little sister that my whole team dotes on. By now, I suddenly have an incredible core team that I would become attached to, and if anything were to happen to any of them,
I would make the culprits ever regret being alive.
I head to Malville, now more prepared than ever to fight Watson. My original plan was to have Timmy sweep through Watson's first 3 electric types and Fiona speedrun to Mandatric for Turn Up the Now Gloom to outspeed and finish the job with Bullet Seed. But it turns out, Timmy didn't need any help. Oh, a crit! And the Citrus Berry will get him out of healing range. Alright, so... Oh, a high roll! That is an easy fight! That's 3 gym battles without a single casualty! Let's head to Fall Arbor Town! What happened doing at Full Arbor Town? Who cares? Let's head to Mount Chimney, buy some lava cookies at the local bakery, and climb down to Lava Ridge Town instead to prep for my 4th gym battle. I knew that by this point in the game, the gym battles would only get harder and harder from here. And if I wanted to maintain my 0 casualty streak, I need to use some more advanced strategies. Rotating teams! Sure, the majority of the game, my core team will remain the same, but for gym battles, this is where I start temporarily switching my teams around to get Pokemon stuck in bench warming purgatory some time to shine. Especially Big Fish the Gyarados, who made a light snack out of Flannery's Torkoal, who was infamous for causing so much trouble to other Nuzlockers.
This is really scary, actually. We're fine, I think. No! There's the overheat. Oh, I might be dead. Wow, that was a bad range. Holy moly.
It's got overheat. Oh my god. Zubat's dead. I hate Flannery. This bitch.
Now, this will be the part where I lament the casualties that I had from my current attempt. But if you look into the PC, I have 0 deaths so far and 4 badges completed. And that's just awesome, man. Oh, an Ultra Ball! I have blazed through 4 out of 8 gym leaders without a single casualty. At this point, I was doing good, and the rematch against Wallace was just around the corner. But unfortunately, while my luck with battles has been stellar, the same can't be said for new encounters. To be fair, Hoenn throws you almost immediately into the horrifying gauntlet that is Norman's gym after Flannery. The Pelberg gym was where everything went horribly wrong in my first Emerald Nuzlocke, as I lost 7 Pokemon thanks to Cool Trainer Jody and of course Norman. If there was any battle where I expected one of my teammates to not make it, it was the fight with Norman. So I need to change up my strategy, and what better strategy than to take advantage of good old gut strats before challenging good old Dad to the toughest fight so far into the video. Goldchamp was the first to throw hands into the gauntlet, and as my reliable powerhouse, he made short work of Norman's first 3 Pokemon. But by the time Norman sent out the dreaded Slack King, I knew I couldn't rely solely on one burning fighting type. Now viewers, what is the main downside of the gut strats in Gen 3? If you picked no Drain Punch, then you're right, as without Drain Punch, Goldchamp has no way to heal himself from the burn damage. So I was forced to switch my Pokemon, get Intimidates off, and try to go for chip damage. As the battle continued, all my Pokemon were either in Snooze Town or 1 burn away from death. Things looked hopeless, until Big Fish the Gyarados stepped up to the plate and spammed Dragon Rage until this demon of Pelberg was finally defeated for good. Alright, let's just use Dragon Rage. Come on, Dragon Rage! Dragon Rage kills the Slack King. Come on. Yes! God has favorites, and I am one of them! With access to Surf and a whole nother half of Hoenn waiting for me, you would think that I could get much better encounters now. But child, you couldn't have been more mistaken. I could have found amazing Pokemon like a Magnite or Absol, but nope! Instead, I found 2 whole balls! Just in time for my 6th gym fight against Winona! Most of her flying types won't be a problem for Dr. Proton. Still, I knew Winona had a dangerous team sweeper in the form of her Altaria. So I swapped to Big Fish like with the last 2 gym leader aces before her, and ordered Big Fish to Dragon Rage until Altaria died a painful death. Once Altaria and Tropius were out of the way, nothing was stopping Dr. Proton from vibing on the rest of Winona's flying types. This was the last fight where I used Big Fish the Gyarados, so thank you Big Fish for being the MVP of the previous 3 gym leaders. I hope you get to enjoy retirement! And while I have been switching up my teammates for each gym battle, my poor 5 party members remain my go-to team and family, and they will get even stronger once Timmy finally evolves into her final form. But Tate and Liza are infuriatingly tough opponents. Not only are they fought in a double battle, which is much harder to build a strategy around in a Nuzlocke, but they specialize in psychic types, a type I have very few answers for. Knowing what I was about to face, I had to get creative. Seeing as 3 out of 4 of their team members are weak to grass or water, I grabbed a Sunstone to evolve Turnip, fished up one of the sharks surrounding Mostique, and bought a few protect teams to stall Sunny Day if necessary. But for all my preparations, there was one thing I could never prepare for. And of course he's got Earthquake. Oh, a crit! Oh, he crit twice! First casualty! Oh, he got the double crit? Are you serious? This was the first casualty in this entire run. Brutality the Sharpedo could have made shark food on Tate Liza's whole team, and losing that advantage to a crit makes this gym fight a lot harder. I was eventually able to bring down their Claydol and Xatu, but Brutality would not be the only casualty in that fight. Oh fuck. That's another casualty. I really love him in that trick. That just sucks. That death stung much harder than the Sharpedo death. Dr. Proton was part of my team for so long and brought so many positive vibes. She was one gym fight away from getting the ball against Juan. Thankfully, that would be the last murder that Tate and Liza would cause, as Temmie and Turnip make a surprisingly good duo. The sheer force of both Surf and Solar Beam were enough to turn the battle against Tate and Liza around, and winning my 7th gym badge. I spent the past 6 gym battles prevailing without a single casualty and easily tearing through each challenge, but the Nuzlocke gods feared that I was getting too powerful and smite thee with that double crit Earthquake. Or at least that's the excuse that I was telling myself. So, to make up for breaking my 0 death streak, I took a detour to catch 2 important new encounters in the form of BSF the Spiel, Bestial Fred, and Hulk the Chinchou, before hiding into the C4 cavern to stop Team Aqua, but more importantly, grab the Earthquake TM for Temmie. After Rayquaza the babysitter grounded 2 problem children, it was time to go fight Yuan for my 8th and final gym badge. And since Yuan likes water types, Turnip would be a must-have, as her Solar Beams would have made short work of Yuan's entire team except for one Pokemon, Kingdra. It didn't help that Turnip was just a bit short of KOing Kingdra, so when she inevitably ran out of Solar Beams, I had to swap to Gauntlet since he was the only one with a move that would hit no matter what, and wasn't weak to Water Pulse or Ice Beam, before switching to Temmie to sweep through the rest of Yuan's team. At this point in the game, I'm done swapping out teams. I already have the perfect team right here to handle the Hoenn League. And I know with this newfound family that I have what it takes to beat Wells and show him who the true champion is. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wow, perfect team balance, bringing 3 water types. Look, there's only one grass type, and only Walrein has to worry about electric type attacks. Just let me cook, okay? Enough chit chat. It's time to enter the point of no return, which is the Elite Four. Temmie leads a charge against Sydney and his dark types and sends his Mariana down a watery grave, before passing the baton to IWaz, who dive bombed most of his team with guts boosted facades and aerial aces. Desperate to get one hit in, Sydney sends out his giant enemy crab, but Gochamp hits his weak point for massive damage. Phoebe tried to wear down my team with her army of ghosts, but BSF and Temmie covered each other's weaknesses incredibly well, and together, they banished her ghosts back to the Shadow Realm from whence they came. But Glacia proved more difficult than I intended. I went with Gochamp to Hariyama, who one-shot all but one of her ice types. But unable to recover from the flames of war, Glacia's Walrein outsped and killed Go-Champ with Surf. I was stunned by that one. I thought for sure Go-Champ could sweep through her team, but Walreins are faster than they appear to be. I then swapped to Hope, since he could take whatever this behemoth could give out and hit back twice as hard with Thunderbolts. But unfortunately, that wasn't meant to be, as this monster landed a Sheer Cold! And she landed the Sheer Cold! Oh my god, why? If that wasn't evidence that enemies have rigged accuracies, then I don't know what is. Ultimately, Temmie was forced to step in at the risk of getting hit with another Sheer Cold and avenged her fallen comrades. Drake was the final opponent before facing Wallace, and was the one I was most nervous about. But despite the might of his dragons, BSF, Temmie, and I was together managed to end all of his dragons without any further deaths. It's finally time! Everything has been building up to this very moment! The moment I can finally redeem myself by defeating Wallace! And though like last time, I only have 4 Pokemon, I knew I had to win right here. Not only for my fallen pride as a Nuzlocker, but to avenge the fallen. So like before, it was time to step in the doors of destiny and fight Wallace. Cause whether I win or lose, it all comes down to this very battle. Wallace attempted to power up his water types with Radiance, but seeing through that strategy, Turnip, who hadn't fought in the league up to this point, countered with Sunny Day and unleashed the power of the sun. Seeing his Wayward taken down so easily, Wallace brings out the Melodic early to remind me of the bitter loss and despair the last time we fought. But that was before, but not anymore. I left it behind. And had Turnip Solar Beam the Melodic until the gigantic garden eel was just a smear on the wall. Feeling the Sunny Day wearing off, I swapped to Temmie to crush his Tentacruel. Ludicolo comes in next and attempts to end Temmie with Giga Drain, but I countered with I Was, knowing that no amount of double teams could hide his Ludicolo from Swellow's gazing eyes. He attempted to full restore stall like the chump he was, before giving up on Ludicolo entirely and instead sending out his Wish Cast. I swapped to BSF, knowing that Gyarados was Wallace's very last Pokemon. But the Wish Cast got a couple of amnesia boosts, so while Wish Cast can't one-shot BSF, neither can BSF. So I swapped back to Temmie and just killed it with another Earthquake. With Wish Cast defeated, all that remained before victory was in my grasp was his Gyarados. I knew Wallace would attempt to go for a Dragon Dance sweep, so I had Temmie use Toxic to poison the Gyarados, and it was now simply a matter of stalling until Toxic did its job. I swapped back to I Was, hoping for Gyarados to use Hyper Beam, but simply killed I Was with Surf. In an attempt to further stall, I sent out BSF next. Thankfully, despite the double Dragon Dance boost, it took more than one Earthquake to kill BSF, further stalling Toxic, so I sent out Turnip and hoped she could eat an Earthquake. Still, Gyarados vaporized the adorable flower Pokemon that gave Wallace so much trouble with Hyper Beam. But I Was, BSF, and Turnip, their sacrifices were not in vain, and thanks to them, we've managed to successfully stall Gyarados long enough for it to succumb to a poetically toxic demise. Oh my god! We did it! We defeated Pokemon Emerald Hardcore Nuzlocke! And against all odds, I have avenged my previous loss and finished a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Emerald. But as the victory cheers died down and I entered my team in the Hall of Fame, I have to ask myself, is this the victory I wanted? I have entered this run hell-bent on revenge, but in the process, I had become attached to my team, treated them like a family, only to sacrifice them one by one to the jaws of death. And that scares me. Was one revenge quest all it took to destroy my soul? I don't think I can answer that. In the end, all I can do is look to the future and see what other challenges await me.